Hi everyone, and thanks so much for joining us today. Our webinar today is called The Greatest and Most Complete Intro to Mobile PPC Ever. My name is Kendall and I'll be your moderator today. This webinar is brought to you by PPC University. If you're looking to master pay-per-click advertising, check out our 3 free guided courses, PPC 101, 102, and Advanced PPC. You can visit www.wordstream.com/learn to check it out. If you'd like to take part in live blogging or social media during the event, please use the hashtag #WordStream. And now I will go quickly through our agenda. So we're going to cover user context in mobile search, SEM metric comparison across devices, 3 mobile metrics that matter, and how to compete on mobile without busting your bank. So I'm really excited to introduce our experts today. We've got a couple great WordStream people here. We have Larry Kim, who is the founder and CTO of WordStream. He's the leader of the Quality Score Rebellion, and he actually just had his first kid 7 weeks ago. Hashtag PPC Kid if you guys are interested. So thanks, Larry, for being here.
Awesome.
And we are very excited, too, to have Jacqueline Jordan on the line. She is one of our top paid search strategists here. She has experience managing over 200 accounts across 25-plus industries. She began her PPC career in Germany, and she enjoys Nerf wars. So thanks, Jacqueline, for being here, too.
Yeah, thanks.
And just a little bit about WordStream. If you're not super familiar with us, we are a search marketing software company founded in 2007, and we're located in beautiful Boston, Massachusetts. We are the number 184 fastest growing private company in the U.S. We're the winner of Best Customer Engagement Driver Award from MyTex in 2012. And we're the leading provider of a couple different things. We've got PPC Advisor, which is our PPC management platform, the free AdWords performance grader, and our landing page grader as well, and our expert PPC management services.
Awesome.
So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and hand things over to Larry so you guys can get started.
Thanks, Kendall. And before jumping into all this content that we've prepared for you, I just had a couple questions for the people on the line to get a sense of who's on the call today. The first question, poll question, just has to do with your perception of the value or the return on investment of mobile search. So I'm curious to know, what's your opinion on the value of mobile search for your particular business? Do you think it's worth less than you compared to desktop search for your business, or is it worth more in relation to desktop search, or do you have just like no idea or no opinion on this matter? So just to lock in your votes there, and I'd love to see kind of what people think here.
All right, keep those votes coming in, guys. We want to get a good sense of who's on the line today. All right. Okay, so we're almost there, so I'm going to go ahead and close that and share the results. And so it looks like we've got 5% that say mobile search is worthless for me, 73% that says mobile search is worth more for me than desktop, or it's worth a lot to me, and 22% no idea or no opinion quite yet.
Okay, great. And just one other question has to do with mobile search readiness in terms of in terms of your company's readiness to take on the challenge of mobile search advertising. The question is, do you have a mobile search strategy? And we've got 3 possible answers. Yes, I've got a mobile strategy with ads and bid strategy and landing page strategy and call tracking, etc. Or no, I've got nothing set up yet. A lot of people are in that category I know. Or just somewhere in between.
Great. Keep those votes coming. Okay. Go ahead, Larry.
So I think that's very interesting. Basically, what I'm seeing here, like if you close the poll and show the results there,
Sure thing.
what I'm seeing is that even though 80% of you kind of see the value of mobile, only 20% of you have kind of a plan in place to capture the value here. And so I think that's a great opportunity in terms of like the content that we've prepared for you, because it's not not just about convincing you of the value of mobile, but also we'll be presenting some actionable tips and strategies to put in place a plan of action. All right, so this is sort of my obligatory, mobile is important slide that seems to be included in every mobile presentation. I'm sure you've seen dozens of studies like this showing that mobile is going to overtake desktop in the next year in terms of searching. And our own internal research at WordStream, we're seeing that for certain types of searches like local businesses or keywords with directional intent like gas station or Japanese restaurant, like those types of mobile searches have already overtaken desktop search significantly. And so I think it's mission critical that marketers are equipped to, capitalize on this opportunity. I think you guys are with me here. 80% of you agree. The question here, as I was saying earlier, is this has to do with how marketers and advertisers will drive successful strategies going forward. And I think the conventional wisdom, well, maybe not so conventional because according to this last poll, but a lot of people out there, they think that the value of mobile search is sort of not as good as what they were seeing on desktop. That kind of the challenging mobile form factors. That it's like that small screen, and it's difficult to do stuff. Therefore the ads would therefore convert worse than the same searches conducted on a desktop. And so, obviously the conventional wisdom is wrong, and you guys are with me on this. And so in this webinar, we're going to be talking about things like user context and what metrics you should be focusing on, and how to implement the strategy, etc. So moving along here, this is kind of introductory material. I just need to make sure that we're all on the same page here. Apologies if you already know all this stuff. Regarding the importance of user context in search, and I'm going to define this as sort of the user context is defined as the location, time, and device from where a search occurs. And the reason why this is important is because in order to get in front of the right searchers at the right time, you have to factor in their user context. And user context, like location, time, and device, these data points will allow us to better understand sort of the driving motivation behind the user's search. And so user context, it's a very powerful predictor of the user's search intent. So what was the user actually looking for? And just by being able to infer what they were actually looking for, that'll make your ads more useful to the searcher and more profitable for your business. Generally it involves kind of targeting your ads and your bid strategy and your targeting to tweak and improve the return on investments on your campaigns. And so I wanted to just give a quick example here. Two searchers searching on the exact same keyword here, locksmith, but look how by having the additional information about the location, time, and device, one of them is at home in the afternoon on a desktop. Maybe he's looking to change the locks on his house. The other guy is on the go. It's 2 in the morning, and he's on his mobile device. He's obviously locked out of his house and needs help now. So you see how the user context really gives you a lot of additional information that you could better use to execute your paid search strategy. For example, your bid strategy. If you're an emergency locksmith with 24-hour service, then that's your money keyword. Or if you're closed at night, then maybe don't bid at all. Like just shut it off completely. The ad targeting strategy. You'd want to call out specific offers related to what you think they might be looking for, especially for these kind of ambiguous keywords like locksmith. But you can take cues from the time and location from where these searches are occurring from, and same with the location targeting. So none of these features they're not necessarily new per se. Obviously bid strategies and ad copy strategies and location-based targeting strategies have been around for a while. What has changed is that Google and Bing have made it a lot easier for marketers to sort of take advantage of targeting searches according to the context of the search. And we'll be talking about some advanced strategies in just a minute. But before going into that, I just wanted to kind of, for the 20% of you that aren't 100% bought in on the value of mobile, I just wanted to kind of give you my take on why I think mobile really rocks and why it's so valuable. The reason has to do with this kind of the conversion funnel and how it's completely different on mobile versus desktop. On the left, you've got the desktop conversion funnel. You know, a person searches on Google, they see the ad, you know, some small percentage of them click on the ad. And when they get to your website, you know, typically a website conversion rate for a landing page is really only like 3, 4, or 5%, you know, low single digits on average, according to you know, our internal data. And so you end up losing a lot of those clicks that you pay for. Only a small percentage of them, 3, 4, or 5% of them, end up turning into captured leads. Now, look how the mobile funnel is so ridiculously different. It says like they see the ad, and directly from the ad they can call the business. So there's no leaky step of like visiting the website and losing interest. Like you've got these people calling directly from the search ad and becoming leads. Now you might be thinking like, you know, maybe these calls, what about the quality of these calls that you get from the call buttons? Our research has shown that the calls from these call buttons are actually more likely to become customers of yours. Think of your own customer behavior. You know, like at what point will you actually pick up the phone and call a vendor? I think it's when you're ready to buy now. So like, you know, calling the taxi, ordering the pizza, you know, getting the emergency roadside assistance. Like, why would you waste your own time? You know, the bottom line, like on average, calls are much more valuable than clicks to a website because of the greater intent, like the stronger purchase intent. And so how much more valuable are these calls? Well, we did some research here in WordStream in partnership with Google. We researched some kind of the value of mobile calls versus the value of clicks to an advertiser's website in 2013, and we highlighted things like, you know, the higher purchase intent, the ability to bypass the landing page, as well as sort of the higher purchasing power associated with people using smartphones, as well as the you know, oddly lower average cost per clicks on mobile. And what we found was that the value of calls from websites you know, versus calls from call extensions, calls are worth 3 times more than clicks to desktops, to websites on average. And so, so yeah, that just blows my mind, because in search marketing I'm often like trying to like do all these tweaks to get like 5% gains or 10% gains. It's really, really rare that you have an opportunity to do something where it's like 3 times better than before. And so I really think this sort of speaks to the transformative nature of mobile search, and should motivate the 20% of you who said you're not really sure about the value of mobile search. This should be hopefully very kind of motivating. And so just one other comment, it's like those call buttons on mobile, they drain the commercial intent out of the search engine results page. So like, yes, there's maybe 5 or 6 or 7 things that you can click on, but the people who are willing to buy now kind of gravitate towards the call button. And so not only do the call buttons like have great conversion rates and metrics, they steal from the other ads that don't have the call metrics. And so you know, I just think that it's really important that you start thinking about you know, figuring out a way for your business to harvest this this intent to grow your business. Now, in order to do this, I think we need to have a really strong understanding of the basic metrics in mobile PPC and how that differs from desktop paid search. And so I just want to hand the things over to Jackie here, who's going to kind of walk us through some of the key differences. Jackie, you are now the presenter, and you should be able to take control.
Just pull it up. All right. So yeah, what we did was kind of took a scan of all of the key PPC metrics that we work to optimize every day. And the goal was kind of to find where the largest variances occur, which metrics behave the most differently on mobile devices than they do on desktop. So the first one we looked at was click-through rate.
Jackie, are you able to advance the slides? I'll just do it. It's fine.
Yeah, okay, sorry. All right, so previously we've kind of defined an expected click-through rate. What this data is showing here is kind of a trend. The higher we're showing up on a page, or the higher our ad position, the higher the click-through rate for an ad, which makes sense. You're more in front of people and you're in position 1 or position 2 than you are farther down on the page. So in data pulled from over 1,200 cross-industry accounts that we've had across all devices, this is the trend that we're seeing. Click-through rate sort of dramatically drops off from position 1 to position 3 and then kind of levels out further down the line. So yeah, no surprise, something we've always known. The higher we are on the page, the higher our click-through rates usually are. But now, with all of these devices thrown into the mix, and we look at the different ways the search result page is set up across these devices, we can't help but wonder if click-through rate performance performs differently across these devices. So what we did was, pulling the same data, we segmented out device and put these different trend lines in place. What we're seeing is a similar trend across all devices. Best click-through rates in position 1, and then we drop off as we get farther down the page. The drop-off rate for mobile is quite dramatic compared to tablet or desktop. From position 1 to position 2, our click-through rate drops off 45%, and even more dramatic after position 2. So what this means is a mobile at position 1 has a relatively similar click-through rate as a position 1 on a tablet or desktop. But a mobile ad in position 2 has the same click-through rate as a third spot on desktop, and it gets more dramatic down the line. Basically, outside of position 1, yeah, mobile click-through rate is much lower positions than on desktop.
Yeah, intuitively, I would have expected this, but it's cool to see that you did this research, Jackie.
Yeah. Cool. So the next thing we looked at was quality score. Unfortunately, within the platform, we all know quality score is available at the keyword level. And within the UI, we're able to segment out click type by device. But unfortunately, the quality score data is not able to be segmented out by device. So kind of tricky for us to pull directly from our accounts any variance in quality score performance across devices. But we didn't give up. We pulled together our data from over $9 billion in greater spend and kind of compared the impression-weighted quality score of these accounts across the share of clicks on mobile devices. What we're looking to see here is if an account has more mobile clicks than it does desktop clicks, if their quality score would change one way or the other. In this graph here, we're kind of looking for a congregation of these points in one corner or another above that orange line in the middle, to see if more mobile clicks really do mean lower quality scores. And no, you didn't miss anything. Right now, there's really nothing to suggest either way that mobile plays into quality score.
Sure, and just one thing to add to that, Jackie. Google actually released some brand new kind of information this week about how quality score works on devices, on mobile devices, and it kind of confirms what we're seeing, the findings that you and Mark came up with. That is to say that Google takes into consideration the device from where the search is coming from. Obviously, the expected click-through rate on mobile devices is lower. It drops off faster, and so the fact that so you're going to have on average a lower click-through rate on those mobile ads, but you don't seem to be dinged for that. Like the fact that you have a lower click-through rate, it's still resulting in a similar quality score, regardless of whether or not you have 5, 10, 20, or 40% of share of mobile clicks, and Google actually confirmed that we are correct about this particular research. So that's kind of breaking news here.
Okay, great. Perfect. Great. The next metric we looked at, kind of a big one, cost per click and the cost of mobile over time and how that's been changing. I love this graph here. This data is pulled from about 400 clients, US dollar clients, who have consistently been advertising on mobile since the beginning of 2012. And the different lines in this graph here illustrate average cost per clicks across the different devices. All devices have increased. It's become more expensive to advertise on Google across all devices since 2012. What's pretty interesting, though, is that even though desktop cost per clicks have increased about 50% since 2012, mobile cost per clicks have increased about 150% since 2012. It's still significantly cheaper to advertise on mobile than it is on desktop. You can see the red line is still way below the blue line for desktop here. But this gap is starting to close in. And as Larry kind of pointed out at the beginning, it's projected that mobile clicks will overcome desktop in the coming year.
Yeah, I think so. On this one, it's kind of like we're in this weird twilight zone. So you've got all these advertisers that are sort of confused about the value of mobile, and so mobile searches are still substantially cheaper than desktop searches, even though I think, like in terms of return on investment, I think the mobile ones are worth more. And so, because there's fewer advertisers participating in the auction, that means that there's less bid stratification. That means that there's you're going to get lower cost per clicks as you got these clueless advertisers. And so, a lot of the advantage, a lot of the return on investment in paid search, or any advertiser channel for that matter, has to do with like being smarter than the group. And so, this is a live auction, and you need to be able to outsmart your competition. And so, I think there's this like mobile sale going on, for the last few years. More and more people are clearly kind of wising up to this opportunity, and I definitely expect the mobile cost per click to kind of pull even with desktop and even pull ahead, but for now the sale is still going on.
Yeah, perfect. All right. So the previous metrics we've already talked about will certainly play into an account's impression share. We just pulled this data to kind of see how it compares across mobile and desktop. Again, pulling from over 1,200 cross-industry accounts, we can see, looking at impression share by device, we're much less likely to show up on mobile versus desktop. Kind of the more interesting thing is, even at ad position 1, our impression share on average is about 18% less than it is on desktop, meaning that for every search query or search done on a mobile device, there isn't even a paid ad present yet. So mobile's kind of a broken auction. I mean, it is only 18% less. It's still pretty interesting to take note of.
So of course, impression share, for people who are wondering what that is, that's kind of like the market share of your searches. So, obviously, if you say you want to, bid on the word popcorn machine or something like that's your keyword. A 50% impression share means that 50% of the time that people search on the keyword that you're interested in, that your ad shows up, and the other half of the time Google doesn't even bother showing your ad. So I think the key takeaway here is that it's very competitive. Just because you say you want a keyword to show up your ads to show up for a specific keyword on mobile, doesn't mean that you'll actually get it, and on average it's like very low. Oh wait, did I just steal your line here?
No, that's perfect. And another thing to kind of note is that we don't have any mobile data for position below 4.3 really. So So I think most of the time you see 2 mobile ads at the very top of the search result page. If you scroll through all the organic, sometimes there's a couple more at the very, very bottom. But really 1 and 2 is where you need to be on mobile. And yeah, Larry, like you said, competition is very fierce on mobile devices. Mobile ads are much less likely to be shown even in position 1. If you're below position 2, forget about it. And again, we didn't have any data below position 4.3. And just to ease any bias concerns, the search impression share is kind of calculated by both budget and rank. The data we pulled wasn't limited by budget. All of the impression share data we pulled was lost due to rank by device. So not surprisingly, we kind of see the inverse trend when we look at search impression share loss due to rank. All right. So that was a lot of data. We scanned through a lot of metrics. We kind of bring together the top 3 mobile metrics that matter and behave the most differently than on desktop. Just to review, click-through rate, mobile click-through rate drops off about 50% faster than it does on desktop or tablet. Cost per clicks have been rising by higher rates than they are on desktop over the past 12 months. And the mobile impression share penalty is more dramatic than its desktop counterpart.
Awesome. And sort of now that we kind of know what are the 3 important metrics in terms of mobile search, I think it's also important to highlight, a couple metrics that are notoriously misleading in mobile search. And I think that if you put too much weight on, any of these metrics, you could seriously mislead your mobile ad strategy. Essentially, the metrics that I think you shouldn't be paying attention to very much are things like conversion rate, cost per conversion, or anything related to like conversions, like total number of conversions. And now you might be thinking like, wait a minute, how can that be? These are sort of the holy grail of reliable, important metrics in terms of desktop conventional PPC, and the reason why you can't rely on conversion rates or cost per conversion or number of conversions on mobile is because they're all suspect. And so what I mean by this is that the leads, and sales that are being generated by your mobile ad campaigns, these happen in the real world. They're calls to your business, foot traffic into your stores. Think about the click to call that just converted into a sale. Is that that's very difficult to track and often won't show up in your conversion metrics. Does that mean that this is not valuable? Of course not. We know better than that. And so, it's just not as easy to kind of count up cookies on a thank you page, like you would in the desktop era, to calculate this kind of return on investment on ad spend for mobile. In mobile, the customer always or often will just bypass those desktop conversion pages entirely. Key takeaway, I think it's kind of silly to measure desktop ads and mobile ads by comparing them by conversion metrics, because they're just not the same thing. Mobile has tons of value. It's just not measured as easily. So Jackie, what do we do about this?
Yeah, we pull this all together. Huge competitive space that's growing drastically, and what can we do about it without spending a ton? First thing, most important to keep in mind, is making sure that you're taking the time to make mobile-specific ad copy, mobile-specific ads within your account. And make sure that the ad that you're putting in front of people is catering to people on the run. Keep your language short and sweet, and make it really easy to interact with your ad. I kind of like this example here of a search for a flight to Dallas. Obviously someone that needs to book something right away, doesn't have too much time to click through and navigate through a messy, cumbersome form fill website. The Travelation ad, much better, putting a mobile click to call here, not even giving the searcher the opportunity to click through to their site that's probably not mobile optimized, but again, touch directly with a service line to book a flight.
I love it. That's user context. Someone searching for a flight to Dallas on the mobile device needs that now, and so that's a great strategy. Yeah. What do we got here?
Another thing that seems pretty obvious that a lot of people don't take the time to switch out is the mobile call to action. especially for a lot of lead gen campaigns that are offering free white papers or demo downloads. A lot of these aren't applicable to mobile devices or aren't even possible to download a white paper, to download a demo. Mobile devices can't necessarily handle these call to actions. Make sure that if this is your call to action, that you're taking the time to switch it up for a mobile device. If you're traditionally offering a white paper or a demo or a trial, maybe just send the audience directly to the sales team, like I said, with a click-to-call option. Always put a call extension in no matter what you do.
Yeah, I can't think of a reason why you wouldn't want to do that unless like the business was closed.
Yeah, that's true. And again, with such a competitive space, just ensure that you're putting all available extensions live for your mobile campaigns. Site links, call extensions, location extensions being the biggest one. But yeah, like we said, call extensions definitely number one. Take up as much space as you can to increase your click-through rate. For e-commerce clients, 9 out of 10 searches that we've conducted for specific products have resulted in POA showing up above anything else on the search result page. If you're don't have a product listing ad or Google Shopping ad live, definitely recommend getting on that platform. If not, you're going to miss out on a lot of mobile shopping opportunities.
Yeah, Google did some studies on people's likelihoods to conduct commerce operations on mobile versus desktop, and what they found, like maybe it's like, oh gosh, it's so complicated to do a purchase on mobile versus a desktop. But what they found was that consumers were very confident with using their mobile devices to accomplish tasks such as purchasing items, just in the same way that they do on desktop. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And then finally, thinking about the increasing cost per click and the variance that they have between desktop and tablet, really important to revisit your desktop mobile budget strategy and putting the right budget in place for your mobile campaigns or ads. On the reverse side, as we know, mobile CPCs are still considerably less than they are on desktop. We've had one client that have tested increasing their mobile bid adjustments by 300%. They're able to bring in much higher click volume for about cutting their CPCs about a third, 3 times dramatically. So a lot more volume for a lot less. It worked really well for that specific client. Whatever you do, don't let your settings tab for devices look like it does in this corner here. Take the time to understand how your website, mobile interacts with your website, and make the appropriate bid adjustment for your campaigns.
So what do you think, Jackie? Do users need a mobile website in order to get started with mobile search ads?
No. I think having a mobile presence is still highly important. Even if your mobile website is non-existent at the moment or hasn't been optimized for mobile searchers, eliminate the option to click through to the website for mobile devices. When you're setting up your call extensions, both on AdWords and Google, you have the opportunity to show just the phone number, or only give the person the option to call into your business. So you're still able to get all of the searchers and valuable traffic that you want, but you're not sending them to a page that isn't optimized for them.
So here in this picture here, this is a Bing ads example. It works the same in Google. The user has set up the call extension to just go straight to the phone number, and when they click on the ad, they can't even navigate to the site. It just goes to the call button. And like, even if I had a mobile site that was like a decent mobile site, I might consider just eliminating that option anyway of clicking through to the mobile site anyways, because like I was saying earlier, you have this leaky bucket of when you send people to your website, then you lose most of them. Like 5% of them end up converting or something like that, 3, 4, 5%. And here you can just have them convert to a call, and that's I think that's more valuable. So I don't even think you need one at all. If you do, great. If not, I don't think that's a handicap at all. So let's just summarize sort of what are the key points that we've made here. Jackie?
Yeah, so bringing it all together, make sure that the ad text you're putting in place is speaking to a mobile audience or people on the run. Take the time to switch up your call to action to be applicable to a mobile audience. Put all available ad extensions in place for mobile devices, especially call extensions. For e-commerce, really try to have a presence on Google Shopping, maybe even revisit the mobile bid for your shopping campaign in your account and up it a little bit for mobile devices, just to make sure you have strong positioning there. Across all campaigns, take the time to understand how the keywords within those groups are performing on mobile devices and make the appropriate bid adjustments. Don't be afraid to test larger bid adjustments for mobile. You can still bring in a lot of traffic for less. It hasn't overtaken desktop CPCs yet. And lastly, don't let your lack of a mobile website hold you back. Just take the time to make that proper adjustment in your call extension tab and have the audience call you directly instead of going through to a website.
Awesome. Thanks, Jackie, for all those tips. I thought I wanted to just give a little bit of information about WordStream to our audience right now. So we've got a couple of offers here. The first has to do with, grading the performance of your AdWords account. So we have an offer here. You can get a free instant PPC audit of your AdWords account in under a minute. You can go to www.wordstream.com/Google-AdWords, and what this thing does is it'll download a few performance reports and kind of analyze the performance of your AdWords accounts based on 8 very important PPC metrics, and it also kind of analyzes how you're doing on mobile search and kind of compares, the performance of those benchmarks against other companies that are similar to you, like in your industry and kind of budget in terms of your monthly spend. So I think that's kind of interesting. It's totally free, and you can try that for free. Kendall earlier talked about kind of WordStream's 20-minute PPC work week. It's basically kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like TurboTax for your AdWords account, like really simple, easy to use tools to optimize your account every week in just 20 minutes. It doesn't take forever. What we'll do is we'll analyze the account and we'll provide you with like 10 things to do in your account every week. Adding negative keywords, adjusting keyword bids, reviewing ads and keywords, that kind of thing. And rather than you having to spend forever to figure out what to do in your account, we'll just sort of suggest what you should be doing, and it's easy and it doesn't take forever. So you can try that out for free. One of the neat features that we have in WordStream's PPC Advisor has to do with our new landing page and lead management software. So obviously, it's not just about buying clicks, but you need to convert them, so you need professional-looking, landing pages, and that can be hard to do for the typical small business. And so we have this kind of really simple WYSIWYG editor for creating and editing landing pages for lead generation for your business, whether you're a dentist or whatever you are. You need to kind of capture those clicks and turn them into sales using these professional-looking kind of templated website pages, and it's super easy to use. One of the coolest new features of this particular function is that we just added a new feature called call tracking software. So I think that's totally relevant to our discussion today. And this is a new feature that I'm super excited about that we just released this week. And basically how it works is that it lets you capture the return on investment, like in terms of lets you attribute the return of your paid search campaigns that come through calls. So someone searches on Google, they click on your ad and end up on your website. We'll substitute the website phone number with a dynamic number that when they call, it'll ring through to your business, but it'll notify you first that this is a call from one of your AdWords campaigns, and we will record the call so that you can kind of get a sense for what the quality was for the calls that you generate through paid search. So I think this is really critical for capturing the return on investment and being able to quantify and understand it for mobile search. And this is just a detailed screen of what that looks like. yeah, it's showing like, on June 5, either you got a phone call from this number, it came from your AdWords campaigns. They were searching for, online education programs, and it started and ended here, and you can play the recording back to hear what that was all about, and you can get kind of nice reporting on like how many leads come on every day or week, etc. So just a nice way to be able to track the return on investment on your mobile search, which apparently 43% of that of the conversions from mobile happen kind of in the real world, like phone calls, kind of people coming into stores, etc. At this point, I just wanted to open up our last poll question for people in terms of these special offers that we just talked about. Kendall, can you open the poll?
Yeah, absolutely.
And maybe tell our audience about.
Yeah, so I'm going to put this up on your screen, guys. So we have for you a couple things today. We have a free live demo of call tracking from WordStream, so that feature that Larry was talking about that's brand new, or a free one-on-one AdWords grader walkthrough with one of our PPC experts, or nothing at the moment. And I'm actually going to leave this up while we go through some questions, so feel free to just select whichever you want. And we will get started with some of these great questions that have been coming in. So first of all, we got a lot of questions about different industries for mobile, guys. Does mobile strategy and certain practices that you guys talked about apply more to certain industries and not to others, or is it kind of the same across the board?
I can take that one. So the question is around quality scores by industry, and what we found is that it's possible to get high and low quality scores in pretty much any industry. It's just all about kind of beating sort of the average expected click-through rate for your particular industry. Now, certain industries have higher expected click-through rates than others, like e-commerce, for example, it has higher click-through rates, but they kind of grade on a curve. So it's just all about kind of beating the average click-through rate for whatever industry you're in. So if there's lower click-through rates in your industry, then they kind of factor that in, and you just need to do better than kind of the other ads that you're competing against. Jackie, anything to add to that?
No, yeah, I completely agree. Click-through rate plays such a strong role into the calculation of quality score, which is why we looked at it, the variance across devices. Trying to beat out the industry average, definitely important.
And kind of a related question, Jackie, I know you had some interesting examples with the Flight to Dallas ads that you showed. So we've got a couple of people who are in the manufacturing and industrial industries. Is there any kind of tips you would give for creating that really compelling clickable text for an industry that's a little more in that direction?
Yeah, I mean, for any service industry, I would definitely really consider the option of only offering the call-only option instead of clicking through to a website to get them right in touch with the right team and book whatever they're trying to do more quickly. I have a plumber client that does that, a couple other service clients, and it works really, really well. We've seen an increase in call volume by doing that, and booked appointments too. So I would recommend that. And also pay close attention to the geo-targets that you put in place for service-related industries. Make sure they're making a lot of sense to where you serve.
Along that lines, another tip I have for these industrial services type people is to kind of invest in the ability to answer the phone reliably. So these people who call, like, you really got to get them when they're hot and be able to kind of service their inquiries right away, because how fleeting people's attentions are. And I have some clients who kind of changed the way they answer calls, like they have an answering service or something like this so that they don't miss any calls, or forwarding it to their mobiles or whatever. So just making sure that you're always equipped to answer these mobile calls.
Great, thank you. All right, this is a good one. So do you guys have any advice for ad testing when it comes to mobile? Like, does it work the same way? Are there things to keep in mind, and how do you go about sort of prioritizing that?
Jackie, you want to take
Yeah,
that?
sure. Similar to desktop, I've run some A/B tests for mobile just to better understand, how certain offers are going to perform on mobile devices. A lot of the same best practices kind of migrate over from desktop to mobile, putting promos in, discounts, numbers, dollar signs, the word free, stuff like that. But yeah, I would definitely recommend setting up some A/B tests for mobile devices, depending on the volume that you're getting there.
Yeah, I think it's pretty similar. It's more about the just having a testing process in place.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. All right, and how would you guys give any advice to someone just starting to experiment with their mobile bid and adjusting those bids?
Well, I think a lot of the key takeaways from this kind of research was that it's like very competitive, and you have to be in it to win it. So I would be thinking like, targeting a more narrow set of keywords, like the keywords with the high commercial intent, where you think that they're trying to buy something now. I would be targeting kind of that more narrow set of keywords and targeting them more aggressively, like trying to get into like the first 2 spots, basically. I think that was sort of the crux of Jackie's data. Anything to add?
Yeah, if you're going to test on mobile, you got to do it right and show up where it's appropriate. Otherwise, you won't have a good test in place if you're not even showing up that much on the page. If you haven't made a mobile bid adjustment yet, there's some great data in your account to kind of show how it's been performing. You can just go to the settings tab and look at the device performance over time to see how it's been doing and how much volume you've been getting. That might help guide some bid decisions there too.
Great.
Awesome.
And all right, here's a good one. So for someone who is brand new to mobile, this is like square one. We had a few of those people in the beginning. How would you recommend getting started and sort of taking these takeaways and putting them into place?
First, I think and foremost is to understand how your product and your website performs on a mobile device. If it's not mobile friendly, before even testing the waters on mobile, make sure you're only getting call traffic. A lot of clients waste their time spending a lot for these mobile clicks to their website, and that does nothing for them. People bounce off right away. So understand how the website performs first and foremost. And then, like I said, looking at device performance historically to set the appropriate bid adjustment there.
Yeah, I think that was kind of the whole. There's a lot of advice, in the content of this webinar in terms of like your bidding strategy, your ad copy strategy, your location targeting strategy. It's just go to the summary slide of the webinar here.
Great. And by the way, everyone, we will be sending out links to the slides in the recording afterwards, so you will have these slides. I know it was a lot to take in. I am going to ask just one more question. I think we can wrap up just a little bit early. Now, let's find a good one. So you guys talked a little bit about extensions. Are review extensions available on mobile?
I have not seen a review extension on mobile. Have you, Jackie?
No, I haven't. No.
I think they kind of, it's usually the number 1 is call and number 2 is location, and like a lot. I know there's like maybe like 20 different ad extensions on desktop, okay. like call, review, they just solve all sorts of bells and whistles. But I think they have a more narrow set of them on mobile.
Right, right. And we got another question about location extensions. So that is on mobile?
Oh, absolutely. It's like the number 2 most popular.
Great.
Yeah, and on ad extensions too, it's important to look at your site links that you have in place and make sure that the length for them is appropriate and isn't getting cut off on a mobile device. You don't have to use the full allocated ad extension that's available, 25 characters. For mobile, it usually should be a lot less. Make sure that they're short and sweet and it's not getting cut off and broken on a mobile device.
Very good advice. All right, everybody. I think we are going to go ahead and close. And let me just close this question so we can go to that last slide, Larry. We'll put up some contact information for you guys.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us today. Appreciate you taking the time to learn about mobile with us, and hopefully we can help you with some of that. My contact information is on the screen. I'm always on Twitter, or you can just shoot me an email if you have any questions. Thanks a lot, and have a great afternoon.
Thanks, everybody, and thanks, Larry and Jackie.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.